Let's do the time warp again.
No.
What do you mean? We're reviewing a Tim Curry movie, right?
Oh, it's the wrong one.
Oh, how
He does wear makeup in this one, as he does in that one. But you're wrong again.
Welcome to Drawing Conclusions. I'm Jessica.
I'm Josh.
And today we are reviewing the miniseries It.
From 1990.
Yes.
And this movie stars a whole bunch of people. I won't go through the whole list.
Yeah.
There's lots. And if you watch TV in the 80s, well, even 70s, 80s, and 90s, you've seen most of these people.
Yeah. Like Harry Anderson and Richard Thomas, right. Tim Reed, right?
Tim Reed, and Ed O'Toole.
John Ritter,
yep.
Right? So lots of famous faces. And then actually some of the kids are pretty well known,
right.
Too. Seth Green.
Right, Seth Green. This was like the first thing I ever saw him in.
Yeah.
And there was Jonathan Brandis, the late Jonathan Brandis.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
So, and this is, we've reviewed the movies that have come out recently, the It movies that came out this year and 2017.
Right. But
we both watched this It miniseries when we were kids, when this came out on TV. And
right,
so
we're both high schoolers watching this show.
Was I in high school in
1990?
What month of 1990 did it come out? Stop trying to make me as old as you. I'm younger than you.
Too late.
Anyway, so we thought we'd review this one too as part of our series of Halloween movies, right? That we're doing for the month of October.
Month of October Halloween movies.
Yeah. So Josh, tell me what you like about the It miniseries.
Well, this will contain some spoilers, because if you haven't seen this by now, what's your problem? Anyway, just first and foremost, the best thing about this miniseries is Tim Curry as Pennywise the Dancing Clown. He's so good, and not to take away from Bill Skarsgård's performance in the new movies, but it's just classic, and he's so good, and just his voice, the way he uses his voice, his facial expressions, and he's just awesome in this role. He's so good. He's creepy, he's scary, and even for brief moments, he's even kind of lovable.
Yeah.
You kind of like him too, but you're like, oh wait, he's a monster from outer space.
Yeah.
Or outside outer space kind of thing. Anyway, but he's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tim Curry is great, and I feel like Tim Curry, I know a lot of people actually now are like, yeah, Tim Curry is amazing. He's the best because of roles like this. Mm-hmm. And especially in the nerd community, he's really well loved because of things like Legend. But I really think about the kinds of things he's done in his career. And he has such great versatility. He's a really great actor. Mm-hmm. And I know that he was really fantastic as Pennywise because... like all good older siblings, we let our younger siblings, we'll kind of force them to watch the It miniseries with us when it was on TV. And my little sister was about 5 or 6 years old. And because we're really good sisters. And she has been terrified of clowns ever since that time because Tim Curry was so scary as Pennywise. Mm-hmm. So effectively menacing and evil. And literally, even as an adult, if you say the word clown to her, she will collapse into a puddle because she is that scared of clowns, thanks to Tim Curry. So, Good job, Tim Curry.
Other things I liked about this, now this was a 2-part miniseries. It aired on back-to-back Sundays. This is the way they did it, part 1 with the kids, and then part 2 when they're adults. I like the first half of this miniseries, and that's no surprise. Most people who watch this really enjoy the first half when they're showing the Losers Club as kids, and the child actors who did this, Jonathan Brandis in particular and Seth Green, they were all very good as their respective characters, and it was very faithful. This movie adaptation was very faithful to the source material. I mean, pretty faithful. I mean, there was some stuff they just simply couldn't do because of budgetary issues. I mean, it was a made-for-TV show.
Right.
And other things, they just, in poor taste, didn't do them.
Yeah.
Which is good. If you're familiar with the book, you know what I'm talking about. Then, of course, they cut out the language that was in the book. But, yeah, I think them taking it back, it takes place in, the late 50s, and then...
Well, it's 1960, actually.
Was it 1960?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the book was slightly later than that, but whatever.
Earlier. Right.
Or earlier, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like in 1960, and all the bad stuff is happening again. The Pennywise is out to devour kids and all that stuff for his like year or so. And they do just such a good job, like the locale, the settings, they're all really good, and you kind of feel the camaraderie of these, of this club of kids, and they do a nice job of mixing in like music from the era, which really, that always to me helps really sell period pieces when you can have like authentic music from that era. It doesn't sound forced, or, you know, it just helps you like accept that that's what's going on.
Right.
It really helps put you in that moment.
Right.
And I thought they did a really good job in the first act. How about you? Is there anything about this you like, or do you remember?
I haven't seen this movie since 1990 when it came out, because while you can say the word clown to me and I won't collapse into a puddle like my sister will, I don't like scary movies. I think I've mentioned that about 5 million times on our channel, and I have no desire to ever see. Well, that's actually not true. I have a tiny bit of a desire to see this again, but because I do remember thinking it was really good, but it's too scary. I won't sleep for a week. If I ever watch this again, it needs to be a time when I won't have any responsibilities for like 2 to 4 weeks, so that I can recover, you know, because I won't be able to go to bed at night.
Sounds good. All right. Now to the downsides, the cons, if you will, for this show. The second half. When they show the Losers Club as adults reuniting to face off against the clown who's come back. It's not that it's bad, it's just not as good. The first half is so much better, and the second half, with their adults, like some of the cast choices work, and some are kind of little, they're not as good, and it the sense of fear is not there, and which is funny because like, and the other con about this show is also like one of the pros for the first half is like it's faithful to the source material, and the second act is largely faithful to the source material, and it's just, I don't know, it's problems with the book, I guess. Like, because when they were adults, it just wasn't as scary, because like you can tell like, okay, things are coming to an end, you know, they know what's going on, it's not a surprise anymore. And of course at the end, you know, they see the giant spider, which back then, even for back then in 1990, looked really cheesy.
Yeah.
And like the animatronic part of it like was really weak, and it was like kind of goofy looking.
Right.
The stop motion stuff was kind of cool, and again, that's what happens in the book. It appears as a giant spider, because that's, you know, the worst thing that they could all imagine, you know, coming at them. They couldn't see its true form.
I legit believe that a giant spider would be the scariest thing that I could see as an adult.
Well, I agree, but if done right and animated properly, I mean, thinking like Shelob from Return of the King, that was pretty scary as a giant spider. But this just like, I mean, it was so wonky and just awkward looking, you know, and they built like a giant scale creature for the adult actors to fight with and stuff. And it was like really clunky and just awkward looking. It's like, this is not scary.
So you've read the book It too.
I have.
And so you feel like that just in the source material itself of the book, that the second half when they're adults is maybe not as strong as when they're kids.
No, not quite. I mean, like I said, a lot of stuff in the movie they got out of the books. I mean, yeah, sure, like they kind of changed the timing of it here and there.
Right.
But it was stuff that was lifted right out of the pages of the book. Again, not everything, because they had to tone some stuff down. But they, you know, like they're pretty faithful to the source material, and I just think some of it just like it wasn't as terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, probably because like, you know, you're a kid. I was young when I read this, so, you know, I was in high school, and some of the stuff kind of freaked you out. But then, like, as I got older, I think about it, and I've read passages from it since then, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. Alrighty then. And then the ending, they kept the same, where it's like they defeat the monster, they go back to their lives. You know, poor Eddie, of course, dies and Stanley has committed suicide. You know, that part's all right out of the book. And they just like, they forget everything that happened. They even forget one another, like all those years that they spent together, or, you know, all that time they spent together as kids. You know, the
They
bonds
forget
there.
their friendships and
Yeah,
stuff.
they forget their friendships and just like, okay, it's all gone. Everything's completely gone. It's like, well, that's stupid. And that happens in the book. And that was one of the things that I liked about the newer movies, the one this year in 2017. I guess this year, since they're dealing with the ending. Spoiler alert ahead on this one too. That they don't forget. They forget all the bad stuff, but they remember all the good stuff, and they remember that they're all friends and all those things, and are able to actually move on in a real and good way.
Yeah.
And so I think that was one of the welcome changes. And they gave Stanley more of a character arc in the new ones, whereas Stanley in this show and in the book was really throwaway kind of person. He was like the skeptic and all that stuff, and he couldn't handle it, and so he kills himself, and so it's like, okay, well, Stanley's done, and it's just like that's really all they have for him, and I like what they did with him in the newer films.
All right, so anything else about this miniseries people should know? Would you recommend this
Yeah.
as a good Halloween?
I think this is a good Halloween show. You know, if you saw this when you were a kid and you watch it now, you're like, why was I scared of this? But
Unless you're like me, and then you'll still be scared.
Right. If you're that kind of person who scares easy, then, you know, you'll get a real thrill. It's still just fun to watch because Tim Curry, and the first half is still very good. I mean, I watched this not too long ago again, and thinking about doing this video. The first half is still really, really good, and the kids' performances, even you know, back then, carrying forward to today, is still very strong. I still like watching that a lot. And the second half is not as bad as I remember when I was a kid. It's still good, but it's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not great. But yeah, I would recommend this. It's fun. Tim Curry is awesome in this role, and it's a good time.
So Josh, tell us about this picture that you drew of Pennywise.
Well, I've always wanted to do the Tim Curry Pennywise for a number of years now, especially since the newer ones came out. And I've done a number of Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, who was also fantastic and in his own way in this character. And I just wanted to have something that really captured this menace that Tim Curry brought to this role. And I found a really cool picture to work from. I mean, I've seen a lot of the other ones that people have done, like where he's got the jagged teeth and things like that. Or, you know, this one I like this evil grin he has. Yeah. So I'm doing this with the Stabilo pastel pencils on gray toned paper.
It looks great.
Thanks.
I really like the way it turned out. All right, thank you for joining us for our review of the miniseries It from 1990. What should they do now, Joshua?
Well, if you haven't done so already, hit that notification bell. A ring-a-ding-ding. For our upcoming videos, we're trying to post these more often, and hopefully we'll do a lot more for this month of October with scary movies.
Or good Halloween movies that I like that maybe aren't scary and, you know, you could watch with your children.
I guess. Anyway, so yeah, hit the notification bell. Please subscribe if you've not done so. Hit the like button. Love that too. And also leave us a comment and share with friends.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Oh, also check us out on Patreon.
All right.
Now, thank you.
Thanks.